Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, yes. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Audible. The testing sequence, sir, sir, it is used for delivering of right parts at the right assembly line.
Okay, Rekha.
Just in sequence, components and parts are assembled in a sequential order so that the processes will be followed sequentially.
Okay, fine. So in case of just-in-time, as you know, just-in sequence is a inventory strategy which matches just-in-time. But here, it completely fits in a sequence with variation of quantity in case of line productions. The next question is,
सर इसको ऐसे सर एक मिनट सर इसको ऐसे बोल सकते हैं क्या जैसे जस्ट इन टाइम में हमने पढ़ा था कि अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ रिसोर्सेज एट अ राइट टाइम एट अ राइट प्लेस तो
yes,
वो इन्वेंट्री सर जो जस्ट इन सीक्वेंस में इन्वेंट्री इस तरीके से अलाइन होता है जिसकी वजह से वो जस्ट इन टाइम को सपोर्ट कर सके
yes, 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 same thing. Okay, but it's
हाँ
a
मतलब उसका बेसिक मीनिंग वही रहेगा ना कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल कोई भी रिसोर्सेस आ रहा है तो उसके लिए इन्वेंट्री तैयार होना चाहिए जैसे वो
but
कार
in
का आपने कुछ बोला था ना
yes, in case of car, there are a variety of inventories available. But in case of just in sequence, you have to arrange in a sequence manner. For example, in case of automotive assemble, the left side door should be placed, or left side components should be placed nearer to the vehicle on behalf of left side, and right side inventory should be placed on behalf of right side. That is the things in case of just in time, just in sequence. The next question is, what is process? 16.
Yes, sir.
What is the definition of process?
The process, the process is a series of actions or steps that can take in order to achieve a particular end.
Okay. Same question to Manasi Behra.
So the sequence of the activities, we can say as that from the raw material to the finished good, the activities consumed is all known as the process.
Okay. So as far as concerned with the process is a set of activities, you can say which convert input into output to meet agreed the customer requirement. That is known as process. The next question is, what is process flow chart? Why process flow chart is used? Shamsundar Panda.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I don't know, sir.
But try to provide the answer. There is no negative mark.
Sir, author sir, question please, sir.
What is the requirement of, or you can say that what is process flow chart?
Sir, don't know, sir.
Okay. Same question to 16. What is process flow chart?
Yes, sir. Sir, process flow chart is a graphical representation of a business process through a flow chart. And sir, it is used for getting a top-down understanding how a process works.
Okay. The next is, what do you mean by make to stock? What do you mean by make to stock? Satyaprushti.
uh, makes to stock it.
Okay, Rekha Sahu.
Sir, in make to stock, goods and products are manufactured on the basis of forecasted demand of the customers. Once the demand has been exactly predicted or forecasted, according to that, products are manufactured and made a stock of.
Okay, fine. Next question, what is make to order? Manasi Behra.
Sir, production will be done when the need of the order is placed.
What is make to order? Amlan Sahu.
Make to order, sir, it means the production activity starts when the producer gets an order from the
Okay.
customer.
The next question is, what is classical manufacturing cell? Rekha Sahu. What is classical manufacturing cell? We've already discussed that one.
Sir, classical manufacturing cell means it is a traditional manufacturing system where different
Yes.
machines are put together in order to produce goods, basically by the use of machines.
Okay, it is very much machine intensive, where heavy or large volume of machines should be brought together in one platform. Then what is dynamic manufacturing cells? Amlan, what is dynamic manufacturing cell?
Sir, it is labor intensive, sir, where the use of labor is more than for
Okay,
production
it
of
is very much labor intensive, where due to availability of more amount of work power or manpower, the large size or heavy size of machine are brought together and then should be mobilized from one place to other place. The next question is to Shamsundar Panda. Drilling is what type of manufacturing process? Drilling is what type of manufacturing process? Is it machining process or assemble process or forming process?
Sir, assemble process.
No. 16. Drilling is what type of manufacturing process? Is it machining process or your assemble process or forming process? Okay, next question to same question to Manasi Vera. She has already left. Okay, join. Yes, drilling is what type of manufacturing process? Manasi Vera.
So manufacturing.
I provide three options: machining process, assemble process, or forming process. Which type of process is it?
Forming process.
No, no. Rekha?
The machining process.
Exactly. The answer is machining process. The next question is welding is what type of process? Amlan. Welding is what type of process? Assemble process,
sir, assemble, sir, assemble.
assemble process. Okay. The next one is casting. The casting is what type of process? Rekha Saab.
Option, please.
The option is machining process, then assemble process, and forming process.
Forming, I guess.
Yes, that is forming process. I just repeat some example. If you take the example of machining process, the machining is done by removal of unwanted pressure. The machining is done by removing unwanted materials. So basically, the example of machining process are turning, drilling, then boring, milling, and grinding process under the machining process. But in case of assemble process, the best example are welding, then your soldering process, then the riveting process, the next is fastening process, and the last one is your that is known as brazing process. But in case of forming process, the first one is your casting process, then coining process, extrusion process, forging process, stamping process, and the last one is your coining process. The next is next questions. What is process map? Manas Vera. What is process map?
Sir, I don't know.
Yes, Rekha.
Sir,
demonstrate the flow of processes carried out in the organization.
Okay, look, if I ask the political map, for example, in that political map of Odisha, for example, why I'm just interconnecting this example with your process map. For example, in case of political map of Odisha, it contains number of blocks, number of districts. Same thing happen in case of your process map. It contains the sequence of flow of material through the number of workstation. In case of process map, it contains the basics uh, idea about what is the number of workstation are there, what is the flow sequence. These are known as process map. But it's a you can say it is a simple pictures which how the raw material should be passed from one workstation to other workstation. The sequence should be mentioned in the picture form through the block diagram, through the and the arrow indicate the flow sequence. This is known as process map. The next is what is process definition chart? Anyone? Yes, Amlan. What is process definition chart?
Hello, sir.
Yes. What is process definition chart?
The process definition chart means it's an graphical representation of sequence of steps
Yes.
in a sequence of steps in a process.
Okay. In other word, you can say that is activities which directly related to input, output, and control of resources that reflect in the form of pictures. That is a process definition chart. So basically, the process definition chart contain different kind of activities which directly related to input, output, and resources. The next question is, so what is the why you can say what is the basic requirement for good manufacturing practice? 16.
Yes, sir.
Why organization go for good manufacturing practice? What is the reason behind it?
The quality management.
Okay, quality. You can say that is quality of product also. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Satya. What is the need of good?
Sir, cost reduction.
Yes, good cost reduction. Anything else?
The risk management, sir.
Waste,
Yes, risk management. Yes, Rekha, you may proceed.
waste reduction.
Waste reduction. Okay. So these are the things starting from the cost, waste, qualities, and the most important thing is labor and capital also. So as far as
Yes.
concerned with good manufacturing practice should be need reduce the cost, increase qualities, then better utilization of labor, and the next is it should be flexible and very much simple that everybody who directly involved in the manufacturing organization they must understand the sequence. I consider that is the process. That should be very much simple. The next question is what is the need of plant layout? Anyone? What is the need of plant
Proper,
layout? Yes, yes.
proper utilization of space, proper arrangement of machines.
Okay. Okay, Samsundar Panda.
Uh,
Okay, just
The meaning of
16. Your voice is breaking.
the
Okay,
network issue.
okay, fine. Samsundar Panda. What is the need of plant layout? Samsundar Panda, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Proceed. What is the need of plant layout?
So what is the need of?
Plant layout.
Sir, sir, it is for the physical arrangement.
Okay, physical arrangement of machines. Okay, good. Anything else?
Also, sir, for processing equipment also.
Processing equipment should not be processed. Material should be processed.
Sorry, sir, material processing.
Okay, material processing. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, how many are appear Jaro learning in case of campus? From your side, how many students have appear?
Yes,
That
sir. Sir,
you,
sir, everyone present here.
Sir, all students. Sir.
all of you got the previous year GD and interview questions.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
In case of 2018, 2019 question you have got.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's my personal advice. Kindly go through these particular questions as well as GD in case of PI interview also, and discuss with each other. Clear. There are some questions. Most important questions. They go for the COVID-19 situations. That situational question must be asked. Be ready for that particular one. So if you have a doubt, then I will make a particular question bank. As you know, we have already sent in case of logistic as well as supply chain management. But in case of online platform like your Jaro, then Ludo Learnings, then Byju's, they are directly concentrate on what the parents of students. So it is very much, we can say that is a complex task to convince them in case of
Sir, but Zaro is not for students, sir. Actually, Zaro is for working professional.
hmm. But the thing is that
Sir,
this you can say that they make a same pattern as far as concerned with online learning. Clear?
सर ये जारो आ कब रहा है आपको कुछ पता है क्या?
ये probably it should be appear at the end of September. क्योंकि नेक्स्ट वीक में तुम्हारा एग्जाम होने वाला है, उसके बाद ही मतलब आएगा probably. Okay, I will confirm from the placement department, and if they provide appropriate answer, then I will send to you. Okay, so today is the slide is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as far as concerned with the work, constant work in process, then POCA, then just-in sequence, I just repeat what we have learned from the previous classes. So as far as concerned with your constant work in process, it is a mixed approach in case of push system and pull system. So if you take push system, in push system, the scheduled tasks should be done for each station. And while in case of your push system, the production is triggered by inventory event. So that is the basic concept behind constant work in process. The next is your POCA. So as you know, POCA is a pair cell overlappings. P stand for pair, P for pair cell, O for overlapping, and L for loop of card with A stand for authorizations. So in case of POCA, the most important thing is it's the alternative to your just-in-time concept. It's a particular capacity signal card which directly involve in case of your manufacturing activities. Then moving to the next one, just-in-time sequence. As you know, the just-in-time sequence is a inventory strategy which matches just-in-time, and it is completely fit in a sequence with variation of you can say that is assemble line productions. Then moving to the next one, that is known as theory of constraint. So in case of theory of constraint, moving to the next slide. So first we have to understand what is constraint. So in case of constraint, it is anything that prevents the system from achieving more of its goal, and constraint may be internal or it may be external to the systems. So as far as concerned, the internal constraint is an evidence when market demand is more from the system than it can deliver. But in case of external constraint, it exists when the system can produce more than the market will bear. So as I told, the constraint is anything that prevents the system from achieving more of its goals. Moving to the next one. So if you go to the internal constraint of a system, so in case of internal constraint, the equipment, people and company policy should be included. So in case of equipment, the way of equipment is currently used limit the ability of system to produce more sellable goods and services. The next one is the people. The lack of skilled people, which limits the system. The mental model held by people can be caused behaviors that becomes a constraint. For example, someone is reject the work, or someone who is reject to set a particular machines, or they just neglect to set up a machines, and that directly goes to the limit of the systems. The last one is management policy. A written or unwritten policy prevent the system from making moves. If you take the example of Chevrolet automotive company, why Chevrolet is vanished? Due to its due to it is happened due to the cultural things or cultural influence by the people of India. So most of the Chevrolet employees, in case of senior management, are belong to South Korea. But in case of India, the middle level of management, the bottom level of management belong to Indian peoples. And as you know, India is a very much cultural country. Every month there is a cultural festivities there. So due to that thing, there are cultural clashes, and that affect the production. So these are the particular example. Then moving to the next one. The topic is your theory of constant. So as far as concerned with the theory of constant, it is introduced by a Israeli physicist. His name is Eliyahu Goldratt during 1992. So the theory of constant is a relatively recent development in practical aspect of making organizational decision in situation where constant is exist. So it was he written a particular book. His book name is Goal. And in that particular book, he mentioned that every system is a set of chains, and you have to identify the weakest chains as a constant, and all the departments, sub departments are directly concentrated on the weakest chain to make them stronger. If it is play as a weakest chain in the system, it hampers the production activity and as well as the organization goals. That is the concept behind theory of constant. The next part is the theory of constant is an approach based on assumption that every organization has at least on factors that inhibits the organization's ability to meet objectives. The normal objective for a business is to maximize profit. As I told, that nowadays every organization is making the most important objective of organization is maximize profit. So that's why in case of India, in case of globe, the most manufacturing organizations are called profit-making organizations. And it happened, they reduce the level of different constant as well as in case of internal constant or in case of external constant. The next is the theory of constant emphasize the maximization of profit by assuring that the factor that limits the production is used most efficiently. That is why, as I told, in case of his book, the title is Goal. In that case, they directly mention how to maximize profit and how to minimize different constraints who directly limit the system. Then moving to the next one. So in case of theory of constant, it adopts a common idealism, that is a chain is no stronger than its weakest link. So as I told in the previous thing, in that particular novel or in that particular book, the Eliyahu Goldratt mentioned the most common idealism, the chain is no stronger than its weakest link as a new management paradigm. So this means that the process, the organization, etc., are vulnerable because the weakest person or weakest parts can always damage or break them, or at least adversely affect the outcomes. So as far as concerned with the people involvement, being a unskilled people, being a semi-skilled or highly skilled people, if they neglect due to some unwanted circumstances, in that case, that directly affect the outcomes of your production activities. So it is keep in your mind regarding the parts, the components, the subparts, the person who directly involved in the production activities. In that case, if you not properly assign them, properly guide them, not properly visualize them, in that case the or processes as well as the organization can face so many difficulties to maximize the outcome. So under theory of constraint, the objective is to maximize the throughput while minimizing the operating expense for labor, sale and administrator, and simultaneously minimize the investment outlay of inventory, plant and equipment. So for most of the business organizations, the goal is to make money now as well as in the future also. So that is why this theory of constant is implemented for a long-term planning process to reduce the different, you can say that is internal constant as well as external constant. Moving to the next one. So when you implement this theory of constant on a loop of 5 steps, so basically this theory of constant include 5 number of steps. The first step is constant identifications. The second step is constant optimization. And the third step is alignment of other operations to the constant optimizations. And the fourth one is elevation of constant, improving throughput. And if you improve throughput, you can minimize the operational expenses. If the constant after the previous 4 step has moved, then restart the process. So these are the 5 basic steps which are generally include in case of your theory of constant. So here the example. So in case of theory of constant, as you know, there are 2 types of constant are there. So you have to first identify which is under internal constant, which is under external constant. So due to that constant, first you have to that constant it directly affect your outcomes. Then exploit the constant, whether it should be repairable or in case of machines, whether the person should be you can say provide more amount of counseling, how to work, how to handle the machine, how to use the tool, that should be exploited. The next part is subordinate all non-constant. So if it is not possible, then you directly inform the middle level of management. They can subordinate all the non-constant and bring together in a particular platform to make the particular exploit constant in a minimized way. Then the fourth step is evaluate the constant, and after that one you go for the repeat and repeat the particular process. So this is the typical theory of constant cycle which is used in most of the automotive companies. The next one is how this particular theory of constant is function. In that case, if you go to the theory of constant, it's a particular management philosophy that focuses the organization's carry resources on improving the performance of true constant. And therefore, the bottom line of organizations. So basically, the Eliyahu Godraf uses a chain of analogy to help illustrate why this is an effective way to get immediate result. So, for example, a manufacturing company can thought of a chain of dependent event, and that are linked together like a chain. So as you see in the particular figures, there are different machines and different workstations are sequentially joined and brought together like a link and like a chain, and the activity that goes in one link are dependent upon activities that occur in the preceding link. So every sequence or every workstation is depending upon their previous preceding link. So when the theory of constant says that the management need to find the weakest link in the chain, since a chain is only strong its weakest link. Thus, the company focus on chain strength, not the link weight, or by working to the strength or weakest link, that is the constant. So here we learn from the theory of constant that suppose you have 4 to 5 number of workstations, and in that whenever you flow the raw material from one workstation to the end workstation, in between that workstation, the workstation number 3 face more number of maintenance difficulties. That means due to that maintenance difficulties, or you can say that is a shutdown will be occur in that particular machines. So due to that shutdown, the whole process is stopped, and that is the weakest link of this particular shop floor. So due to that weakest link, that is known as your constant. So due to that constant, which stop the whole system. So it is the duty of the production manager as well as the worker levels that directly concentrate on that workstation number 3 to make them you can say that is make them ideal. In that case, they provide maintenance work, they provide and they smooth the particular workstation, which as a result, the raw material should be passed from workstation number 1 to the end number 1. That is the concept behind it. Then moving to the next one, the benefit of TOC, or theory of constant. The theory of constant does away with much cost accounting, and it is clear that the application of most accounting principles, that is primary allocation of cost in order to make decisions at the local level, leads to poor management decision at the department as well as the upper level of organizations. So as far as concerned with theory of constant, it always focus, or the theory of constant does away with much of cost accounting. That primarily focus on accounting principles. The next is, in fact, the TOC virtually eliminate the use of economic order quantities. The next is production lot size, delivery product cost, setting price, and determining the productivity measures and the use of performance incentives. It just eliminate this part. The next is most individual will readily see the use of theory constant, the improvement of production schedule, or you can say that is in improving manufacturing process. And the last, although it is very much true that theory of constant provide us with simple example in case of manufacturing environment. And the theory of constant is truly applicable any process in organization that includes universities. It also includes your hospitals, different kind of service provider of all varieties, government, and the last one is manufacturing. So these are the benefits. If you have any doubt, you can ask me regarding theory of constant. Any question from your side? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So moving to the next one. So these are the formula basically used to calculate the, you can say that the following 4 measurement are used to identify the result of overall organization in case of theory of constant. The first one is net profit, that is throughput minus operating expenses. The next one is return on investment, that is throughput minus operating expense divided by your inventory. And the next one is productivity, that equals to your throughput divided by operating expenses. And the last one is turnover, that equals to throughput minus divided by inventories. The next question is, next topic is that is Hijuka box. So in case of Hijuka box, this is a you can say the alternative approach to your Kanban board. So in case of Hijuka box, it is a sort of enhanced Kanban board. It still acts as a visual scheduling tool to obtain production leveling at the workstation, and however differently from the traditional board, it managed to keep evidence of material distinction. It is very much look like a you can say that your steel almirah or your wooden box almirah. This is the typical example where you can keep different level of inventory, and it is a particular evidence of material destinations or designations. For example, in case of Monday, who use this particular material, they directly mention in that particular card. This is the advanced form of Kanban card. But the thing is that whenever you go to the function of Hijuka box, usually it is represent a grid and shape wall schedules. Analogically to a simpler board, each row represents the time interval, usually 30 to 60 minutes, but multiple columns are represented and each one is associated to different materials. Then moving to next, as far as concerned with the product order Kanban are placed, so it is called pigeon holes within the box and based on number of items to be processed in the job on the material type. So as far as concerned with the Kanban system, Kanban are in case of one system Kanban or two system Kanban, the product order Kanban should be known as your pigeonholes, and within that box, a number of items to be processed in the job. On next is the material type should be mentioned in the Hijuka box, and depending upon the time interval is also mentioned in that box. Then moving to the next one, so in case of workstation, operator will process all the Kanban placed in the current period, that is known as raw, and remove them from the box. And hence, Hijuka box is not only provided a representation for each job queue for the production, but for its schedule time as well. So as I told, the schedule that Hijuka box provide representation of job. The next is also included in case of your raw material for each job queue for production, but for its schedule time is also mentioned and allow the operator to pursue production labeling when inserting the new production order Kanban in the box. Then moving to the next one, moving to the next one, the next topic is your three bin Kanban system. It is a very much simple system implemented in 3-bin systems for supply parts where there is no in-house manufacturing. So basically, this 3-bin contain 3 type of you can say that is Kanban card. One bin is for the factory floor, that is the initial demand point. One bin for your factory floor that control the inventory, you can say that is inventory control point, and another bin at the supplier levels. I repeat, one bin for supply factory floor for demand point. Second bin is set for your inventory control point, and third for your supplier. So how it is used? Here the typical example. So in case of 3-bin Kanban system, as you see, one B for your initial process, one for your inventory, and one for your suppliers. So if you take the first one, in case of process, when the bin is empty, it's returned to a supplier for resupply. But in case of the second one or third one, the supplier will replace the bin taken from the store, and in case of store, the next bin is taken from the store to replace that one, replace the one that has been completed. So this is the whole typical example of your 3-bin Kanban systems. Then moving to the next one. So in case of 3-bin Kanban system, the bins usually have a removal card containing the product details. So you know, in case of Kanban system, it is a signal or a signboard which contain all the information related to your job. Here, the same thing happens. The bin usually have a removal card containing the product details and other relevant information in the classical inventory, classical Kanban card. So when the bin on one factory floor is empty, it's because of the part in it were used in manufacturing process. The empty bin and the Kanban card are returned to the factory store. You can see that is inventory control point. The factory replaced the empty bin on the factory floor with the full bin from the factory store, which also contain Kanban card. So as I told, it contains 3 number of Kanban card, one for your factory floor in case of demand, second for your inventory control Kanban, and the last for your supplier. In case of factory store, they send the empty bin with the Kanban card to the supplier. The supplier full product bin with its Kanban card and is delivered to the factory store. Similarly, the supplier keep the empty bin, and this is the final step in the particular process. So if you go to the process never run out of product and could be described as a closed loop in between the process, the store, and the suppliers. And in that it provides exact amount of required with only one spare bin. So there is no oversupply should be considered as far as concerned with your process, then store point, and the last one supplier point of view. The next is in case of yes, you have any doubt, you can ask. Any doubt from your side? Okay. So that's all for today.